What do you do when one of the most powerful men in music faces the kind of accusations usually reserved for movies and nightmares? This week, a federal courtroom became the stage for a drama wilder than anyone expected, and the main character is Sean Diddy Combs. Artists he mentored, women who once adored him, staff who lived in the shadows all called to the witness stand. The testimony was so raw, so disturbing, that even seasoned reporters say they've never seen anything like it. But what really happened inside those walls? What did Don Richard, Cassie, Aubrey O'Day, and others reveal? Today, we're breaking down the full story. Every chilling claim, every moment of silence, every shock that might end Diddy's career for good. You're watching Katie's Celebrity News, the home for the stories and scandals that shape our world. Before we dive in, make sure you hit subscribe and drop a comment below. Do you think celebrity power protects the guilty, or is this finally the age of accountability? Let's step inside the trial of the decade. The first day set the tone. Nervous energy, whispered conversations, legal teams on edge. No cameras, no distractions, just the raw, unfiltered clash between accusations and defense. Suddenly, all eyes were on Don Richard, a name famous in its own right. Not a stranger, not a bystander. She was there, inside Diddy's inner circle, as both collaborator and friend. That's what made her testimony so explosive. She took a slow, steady breath before detailing one of the most infamous incidents, the skillet scene. Her words painted a picture so vivid, even the jury leaned in, almost forgetting to blink. It was 2009 in Los Angeles, a typical morning at the mansion until it wasn't. Diddy, already agitated by a missing phone, confronted Cassie in the kitchen. Don recalled, he just lost it. One second he's yelling, the next he's in the kitchen grabbing at things, and suddenly there's food flying, a skillet in his hand, and Cassie is on the floor in the fetal position. I'd never seen fear like that. This wasn't described as a one-off. Dawn testified through tears that she'd seen Diddy's rage before, but never so directly aimed at Cassie. It wasn't new, she added. It was just the first time I saw everyone so scared, so unsure if someone was about to get seriously hurt. A moment of silence followed in the court, as if even time itself was stunned. Dawn's testimony was only the beginning. Over days, the prosecution built a case around what they called an empire of control. Multiple witnesses described a home where Diddy's rules extended to every detail, who Cassie was allowed to talk to, what she could wear, even when she could eat. According to testimony, texting friends or seeing family was forbidden without Diddy's blessing. Even staff followed a code. Never look Diddy in the eye, never disobey, and always keep secrets. The prosecution argued that this wasn't just about violence. It was about domination, both mental and physical. Dawn's voice cracked as she remembered, Cassie wouldn't laugh as much. She'd stay in her room. This wasn't a relationship. It was like imprisonment. We all knew not to step out of line. Viewers everywhere asked, why didn't anyone speak out sooner? Why did so many stay, despite the fear and humiliation? Dawn admitted to the shock of many. I stayed quiet because I was scared. He knew things about me, things he could ruin me with. He gave fame, but he could take it away. Other staff and artists, in hushed voices, echoed her words. Fear of retaliation, fear of losing careers, homes, or worse. The prosecution argued that Diddy created an atmosphere of absolute loyalty. The defense pushed back, calling it exaggeration and betrayal. But the seeds of doubt were already thriving. Diddy's lawyers didn't waste time. Their plan, target Cassie's mental health, revisit her past traumas, and claim she was motivated by revenge or fame. But Cassie's testimony, though emotional, was remarkably clear. She admitted she needed therapy because, as she put it, I was brainwashed. I didn't even know who I was anymore. I was owned. I wasn't free. She described living through a fog, days blending together, relationships with friends and family collapsing, wondering every morning if today would be better or worse. She told the court, "Leaving wasn't simple. You lose yourself one piece at a time." The jury, again, seemed transfixed. As more witnesses took the stand, the picture of life in Diddy's world grew darker. Testimony from a woman known as Monica detailed bizarre household rules: speak only when spoken to, lie to outsiders about everything, never, ever meet Diddy's eyes directly. Staff and artists faced punishments ranging from isolation to sudden firings for the slightest slip. Even the parties had rules, Monica recalled quietly. There were private rooms, unspoken expectations. Sometimes you were told to disappear. Other times, you witnessed things you knew you could never repeat. Rumors of freak-offs, unusual parties, where rules didn't seem to apply at all, were whispered about throughout the week. The defense labeled these stories as tabloid fabrication, yet witness after witness confirmed the details. Aubrey O'Day's testimony became a highlight, raw, direct, impossible to ignore. She painted a vivid picture of emotional coercion on Making the Band, with Diddy allegedly pitting contestants against each other, then humiliating them in public and private. According to Aubrey, punishment was public and cruel. If you failed, he made sure you felt it, and so did everyone else. Some nights we'd be ordered to perform for his friends, and if you looked scared or weak, you were singled out. But it wasn't just emotional games. Aubrey detailed private parties, drugs, and how Cassie, despite massive fame, always seemed trapped. People ask why she didn't just leave, but it was like a gilded cage. Every exit was locked by fear, contracts, or something worse. Towards the end of the week, the prosecution revealed the extent of ongoing legal action against Diddy, dozens of lawsuits for alleged abuse, trafficking, and psychological torment spanning years and involving more than just Cassie. Some claims included minors, others employees, and more than a few fellow artists. As this list of pain was read out loud, witnesses whispered, gasped, and for the first time, Diddy himself reportedly looked away from the judge's eyes, no longer a mogul in command, but a man facing a possible end to everything he'd built. The courtroom audience, a mix of media, fans, and legal experts, struggled to process it all. Some cried, some scribbled frantic notes, some simply closed their eyes, hoping perhaps that what they'd heard wasn't real. Reporters leaving the courthouse described a surreal atmosphere outside. Protesters jeered, some supporters shouted back, and news cameras caught every reaction. On social media, the hashtag Diddy trial trended for days, mixing outrage with sympathy for alleged victims. Music insiders told reporters that nothing will ever be the same. The code of silence might finally be broken. As the week closed, the music industry found itself at a crossroads. Some former partners and major brands distanced themselves from Diddy within hours of the testimony going public. Artists once seen as protégés began telling their own stories on Instagram, Live, and TikTok. One music executive, off camera, said, "No one is surprised, but everyone's scared. If even half of this is true, it's not just Diddy's empire at risk. It's the entire way this business protects its own." Celebrities posted statements of support for the alleged victims, with others surprisingly silent, fueling more rumors and debate. By Friday, as Diddy slipped out a side door, his usual confidence replaced with exhaustion and uncertainty, one thing was clear. The first week had torn down the myth of untouchability. No verdict had been reached. No absolute proof decided. but the court of public opinion was already shifting. Fans wondered, should you still listen to his music? Will he ever return to the spotlight? Legal experts say next week's testimony could be even more explosive, more inside witnesses, possible financial revelations, and maybe even Diddy himself taking the stand. So, what do you think? Is this the long overdue reckoning for a man who held too much power for too long, or proof that, in the end, the truth always finds its way out? Drop your thoughts and questions in the comments. Have you changed your mind about Diddy? Which witness moved you most? Do you think the music industry will ever change? Remember to subscribe for the deepest dives and the real stories behind the headlines. Hit the bell so you don't miss next week's revelations, because this trial is just getting started. Thanks for watching Katie's Celebrity News. For more shocking truths and courtroom drama, click here, and don't forget, stay curious, stay critical, and we'll see you next time.